What's up, nerds? Alright, so like I said in the last segment of this video, I did receive all the parts. I've put it all together. Now, reading the manual for this motherboard, and this is the suggested motherboard for this particular build. As you can see, it's the D815EFV or D815EPFV. This is Intel's universal board, denoted there by the U. So this board is actually universal for both of those boards there, Intel, the desktop board. It's not the server board. Now, reading, supposedly we need at least a gig of RAM. Now, I did get the kit, a gig kit, but according to the manual, it will only host 512 megs. So we got 512 megs in here to start, just to see if we can get this thing to boot up. I got the processor fan connected to the 370 socket. See, I got an old monitor here, a Dell P1 desktop power supply, which connects there. It's the old 20 pin, not even the 24 pin. I've found an old Asus IDE cable, which is going to connect to the hard drive. Now, I'm kind of worried about plugging this hard drive in. I want to get to the BIOS first off before I even plug this thing in, because I want to make sure that everything boots up and that the BIOS is configured correctly before I actually turn that thing on. I did rig up a makeshift arcade button here just to launch the power. I got it connected to, I believe it's 2 and 3. It's also in the manual. Good shot at that there. It'll focus. I don't know if it's going to focus. There we go. So you can see where 1 and 2 are kind of bent there to the far right, and then 3 and 4 is where the power lead goes. You know, again, this is some old school crap here. I wouldn't suggest you buying any of these parts unless, of course, you know, you're trying to restore one of these machines. I just got one of my old gaming Z-board keyboards. It's the only keyboard I could find laying around the house. Just so that I can, like I said, get into the BIOS. So, yeah, without further ado, I believe we're all powered up here. We got power to the power supply. Going down here to my makeshift outlet here. Got power to the monitor. I see it's blinking, so we definitely know the monitor's got power. Yeah, so let's see if we can get this thing to fire. Here we go. So let's see what we get here. Well, here are the fans turning. We've got fan movement there. I hear the post beep. Let's see if we can catch the BIOS by hitting delete here. It might be like an F2 for setup or something. I'm just not sure. Never booted this motherboard. And reading through the manual, it didn't really give you much. It's a 142-page manual. I don't know. It doesn't get a blinking. Oh, there we go. There's something. Still hitting delete. Oh, nope. Doesn't look like it's going into system halted boot failure. Okay, so we didn't get into BIOS. It's not exactly what I wanted, but I am happy that the computer is resurrected. I mean, we are getting some poop out the monitor. You know, the power supply is actually generating power, which is good. I don't know that it's taking any sort of keyboard functionality. That might be because of this USB. Maybe I need to switch USBs before the next boot. We'll try that. I don't know. We need to get to the BIOS. So let me do a couple switch arounds here. We'll be right back. All right, so the guy that sold me this motherboard did say that possibly one of the USBs wasn't working. He asked me if I needed all of them. It was really the only board I could find online for a decent price. Everybody was wanting over $100 for one of these old school boards. I did find this one for about 30 bucks, and he said one of the USBs wasn't working, but as you can see, there's two there, and there's two there. So, 4 USBs on the board. If only one is dead, I could live with that. Anyhow, what I did is I did swap. As you can see, I put it in the second USB, powered it back on, and we are at the BIOS. So, system time. Hey, look, we're cooking with some grease. It's even still got the right system time, so we know the battery's good. Processor speed is an Intel Pentium 3, 1 gig, 133, so we know we're good. Total memory installed is 512. That's what I predicted. Now, I don't know, but I'm hoping I can get bank another set of or this other stick of RAM in one of these other banks, and it will register a gig. But according to the manual, it said it would only register up to 512. So we'll worry about that later. What I want to do is I want to go through the BIOS now. Can. Yep, looks like keyboard's working, which is great. So we're gonna go here to advanced, down here, peripheral configuration. Enter that. Auto. That looks good. I don't know what EPP is extended. Looks like everything is good. Escape out of there. IDE configuration, that's what we wanted. Okay, so IDE controllers both. Pre-hard disk. Okay, let me delay. Might be good here, folks. Driver's not installed, that's correct. All right, so let's exit out of here. We're gonna exit, discard changes and exit, yes, okay. All right, so it's gonna try to boot again, but we know it's gonna fail because we have no hard drive connected, obviously. I did not want to connect this hard drive until I knew for a fact that this computer was working, just because the hard drive is the core to this unit. All these old school parts I can rebuy again, but this hard drive, whew. Okay, so I'm going to connect this hard drive and be right back. I did one more test, and I'm going to try again. As you can see, Bank 0 has 512 megs in it. Bank 1 says not initialized, and Bank 2 says not installed. Now that's what the manual was telling me. It would not initialize more than 512 megs of RAM. It was suggested that you got a kit to 256s for a total of 512, so you get the dual channel memory. When I was looking for all these parts, that I didn't think that it would matter, as long as the board, as long as it was the right memory. There's 3 slots in here. So I'm going to try it. I'm going to try one more time. I'm going to move that middle stick from slot 1. I'm going to move it down to slot 2. So I've got 0 and 2. We'll see what happens there. All right, so we're going to do this live. We've got the UltraCade drive in. We know that this is a working system, as we've already established that. The monitor is blinking and ready to go. So here we are. We're going to power this bad boy on. You ready? Boy, I hope this works. Okay, we've got fan. I hear the post beep. Let's see what we got on the monitor. Okay, it's starting to boot up. Boot drive failure. Boot failure, system halted. Not good. It certainly didn't like that. All right, well, that's definitely a Debbie Downer. All right. Well, that is definitely not what I wanted to see. So we're gonna shut it down. Let's get into the BIOS here. See if it recognizes. It even recognizes the hard drive. Okay, so system. Yeah, see, primary IDE is not installed. So it's still not. And I'm not feeling any hum from this. Oh, well, folks, first mistake. All right, we've got to give it some power. Boy, oh boy. Troubleshooting 101, right? All right, let me plug this in and we'll try again. All right, nerds. So I've hooked up the hard drive, as you can see, the power to it. We know this computer is good and functional. We've gone through all the testing. Let's, I plugged in the Beats for some sound just in case we get any poop out this hard drive. So here it is. We're gonna do this live. Hopefully we'll have a running UltraCade machine here. Okay, we've got CPU fan. I didn't hear a post beep. Oh, there it goes. Just in time. Got a blinking cursor. Looks promising. Look at that. Joshua kernel loading. UltraCade. And there it is, my nerds. That's it. We have any sound? I don't hear any sound. I know I've got that plugged in there and into the Beats. So we should have sound. Turn the volume up. Yeah, I don't know what the deal with the sound is, but we do have a working UltraCade machine. Yeah, let's see if we can get it to play. Oh, there we go. Sound. Look at that. So that all works. I'm just using the up and down on the keyboard. So I don't know, but from what I understand is that all the keys are mapped to main or typical main configuration, which is good if you want to use an iPack for your arcade controls. We're just going to use the keyboard for right now because that's going to be my next video. Will be the setting this up in a cab. Let's see. Let's find something here everybody would recognize. Centipede. Everybody knows Centipede. Let's see if we can get this to play. There we go. Oh, look at this. It even shows the movement. This is what you would expect at an UltraCade. So playing with one hand is obviously not going to be very easy. As you can see, it's working. So I think we did our job. We successfully resurrected this UltraCade. And we're going to escape out of there. Let's see what happened. Oh, yep, right back to the menu. So, yeah, I'm pretty impressed. So if you have any questions or comments, please post them below. Like and subscribe. I will be posting another video here shortly as I put this into a cabinet and connect it to an iPack or some sort of JAMA. I'm looking for the original piece of hardware, the USB links, I believe it's called. That's what it normally would connect to, and then out JAMA from there. That's what I'm hoping to find. I haven't seen any of those online, so if anybody is familiar with those and maybe has one, message me. So I am looking for one of those. Again, I've been told that an iPack will work, and I could definitely get my hands on one of those pretty quickly. So yeah, we're going to call Frankenstein alive. Like and subscribe.